Well, hello there. It's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, wow, it's been a long time, and I'm really excited to be back and being able to be with you today here. And I want to really give you an update because there's a lot of things that are going on, not just in my life, but in the world. And I want to just kind of fill you in on where I've been, what I've been up to, what's going on with me, what is going on forward from here. So let's just jump in. Whether you know or not, about 2 years ago, I had a traumatic brain injury. And for the last 2 years, I've been recovering from that. And I'm going to still have symptoms the rest of my life. And okay, that's fine. But when it was really bad, it was really bad. I couldn't stay awake for more than a couple hours a day. I couldn't walk up my stairs, numbness in my hands and arms and feet, can't think, drop words, loss of coordination, all that stuff happened. Okay. And I've been slowly getting better and slowly learning how my brain works now in this new state. And it's been a really big adjustment for me physically and even mentally and emotionally. I went to some really bad spots emotionally and mentally. Even thinking about suicide, like this, I can't live like this. This is, basically watching everything around me, everything that I built, everything that I worked so hard for to be taken away in a way because I couldn't work. I couldn't run my business. I couldn't do much of anything except sleep. And then when I would get up and I would try to do things, I couldn't think of the words, or I couldn't maneuver my body the right way, and I put on a lot of weight, and all these things that happened, and it was like wow. And so for like the last 6, 8 months, I've been trying really hard to get my business back going. This neurotransformational coaching and seminar training and things like that, and nothing has been working. Like nothing has happened. Zero. But in that meantime, a lot was happening with me. One of the things that I was realizing is I was going to all these events and things like this, and how they're all sold and how they're all given is that I realized how much of a lack of integrity there is in this field. The other thing that I've realized is how many people call themselves a coach that have no idea what to do as a coach. They have no formal background or training, and aren't serving people because they're speaking about things that they don't know about, but they're giving the wrong information, right? And in the meantime, as I'm saying, okay, well, I just need to pick up a client here or do something here, I'd go to an event and the event didn't work out the way it was supposed to, or there wasn't enough people. Yeah, you'll talk to 7,500 people and there were 2 people in the room, and all these weird things were happening, right? And as I was watching my bank account go from E to well below E, frustrated, upset, I heard this idea, this voice kind of speak to me in the middle of the night that said, hey, you have to get back to your spiritual nature. You have to get back to your spiritual self. And if you have not known me for that long, if you go back, 10 years before that, 15 years, I mean, I've been studying it for over 20. I was much more of a spiritual guide. Okay. If you're on my page, my Facebook page, Aubrey Haase on Facebook, you would have seen all these different spiritual posts. And it was very grounded. I would meditate a couple of times a day, a couple hours at a time sometimes. I got to learn from Buddhist monks. I was a practicing Buddhist for over 10 years. Different types of spiritual gurus that I was blessed to study with. I've studied everything from like becoming a Reiki master in energy to shamanic healing with a Native American shaman teacher. And then I jumped into the transformational realm. And then the transformational realm pulled me like to the next level. I'm like, oh my God, this is really cool. I can combine some stuff. And then I was studying with the people that says, hey, with your knowledge, you should be making millions of dollars a year. And when I first started on my spiritual path, everything that I would learn, I would just give away. I just give that information away. It took me a long time to realize that I could there's an exchange of energy, of payment for knowledge, right? You can take the next 10 years and learn it yourself, or I can give it to you now and we can exchange some things like that. But money for me was never the forefront. Strangely enough, somewhere along the way, it became that. Okay. And I don't think it's any accident because I've always said the universe hits you over the head more and more until you get to where you're supposed to be. I don't think it's an accident that the universe hit me over the head literally with a mountain in Utah as I went tumbling down a 70-degree slope over and over and over, hitting my head, like literally the universe bashing my head, saying it's not about money. And my intention and my heart has always been about helping people, but then I realized when I help people, I can also make a lot of money. That was a big sidetrack for me. And recently my spirit called me back to be. My spirit called me back to, we need you back where you were when you surrendered to this path, which is a very spiritual, very grounded. It wasn't about money. It was literally about changing the conversation in people's lives so people have a better life. It's literally changing something in this world so the world can be better. Now, over that period of time and now, some 7-8 years, the world is in a much different place. And in the meantime, I have all these people that are doing things like the coaches, right? The people that are coaching that call themselves coaches that aren't coaches. They have really maybe they went through a transformational program or they learned something. I mean, you can get a certified life coach certification for $25 on the internet. It's crazy. But I also realized there was this big thing in spirituality, people jumping in their life. It's like, I'm going to become spiritual because I don't like my life here. I don't like the trauma that I've been through. I don't like this part of me or that, or what happened to me. So now I'm spiritual, right? And people are even getting spirituality wrong. One of the main concepts of spirituality isn't being spiritual for yourself. It's being spiritual for others. Okay, it's one of the tenets in Buddhism is that what we do is always to relieve the suffering of others. And in turn, we will be fulfilled, right? Not we will be fulfilled and then we do something. It's not about the I. It's not about the self. And you have a lot of spiritual people saying, well, I don't want to look at anything bad. I don't watch the news. I don't want to hear anything bad because all I do is focus on the good. But folks, the bad is still happening. It's that duality, right? But once you realize that it's an interdependent nature, that all things are connected, we realize that the good and bad that you view through that filter of good and bad are related and interdependent on each other. So you can't just block one side off and go, well, no, that's not happening. Because the kids are still starving. We're still polluting our oceans. We still have political unrest. We still have hatred and racism and things like that in the world. And if you corner yourself off and go, no, I'm spiritual, I only think of the good, you're not really being spiritual. You're creating a bigger ego of self. I am this. I am good. I am. And this I amness of ego. Where true spirituality is to make the suffering of all beings disappear, right? The true spiritual nature, even in religion, it's taught about being there for others, right? Feeding the poor, okay? Housing the homeless. And the West has gotten into all these catchphrases. And as I'm rereading a lot of my textbooks, a lot of Buddhist texts, and really getting back into my meditation practice, my mindfulness practice, practicing contemplative meditation, concentration meditation on the lack of self, the emptiness that is. I'm seeing all these different things and these new catchphrases and how the West really doesn't have the idea of the thousands of years of tradition. You know, I look at even like where I am and where I was, and I look at where I want to be, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is still a lifelong path, and maybe multiple lifetimes to get to where I would want to be in helping relieve others of their pain and sorrow, helping the world heal, creating a shift in planetary consciousness. And so that combined with all the lack of integrity that I see and dependence that seminars are in. I literally have seen my friends go to 5 life-changing seminars in the past 3 months. Well, if it changed your life, why do you keep going? Why do you need another one? And it's a way of creating these seminar highs, these emotional highs, but never really giving you the tools to stand alone in the world and utilize it. So then what you need is you need the next seminar. You need that seminar high again. You need that person, that teacher that says, well, hey, if you're falling back on old times, come see me again. Pay another $3,000, $4,000, or maybe work with me personally for $35,000, right? $45,000, depending on who you're studying with. And it creates this dependence, but you're not ever really giving them the foundation or the tools to say, here. One of the tenets that I've always subscribed to is that when you work with me, we'll get to a point where you don't need me anymore. And if you still need me, then either you're not doing the work or taking the tools, or I'm not the right person to coach you. Okay? And so I'm looking at all these people that are walking the walk of one thing, but then aren't talking the talk on one thing, but not walking the walk, right? I want to help people. I want to help people. And then you see literally people that need help, the people that are suicidal, people that really need something in that moment. And it's like, yeah, if you pay for this class, I'd be happy to help you. And I was watching this and I'm going, oh my God, even I fell into that, right? And so I'm starting to give back, give away my services, give away, and just help people as it comes up. But I'm also creating this idea of the spiritual warrior based on what I'm reading again, but really this contemplative place of spirit. Because I think that's what's missing in the world right now. We're missing this connection to spirit as we go out and do things. We're missing this connection to spirit, not in the I or the self, but this connection of spirit that is dependent on all other things. Okay? Because we truly are interdependent. There's nothing that you do without help from either nature, other people, and like let's say that you just want to eat something, right? If you eat something, there's the animal involved, there's the trucking company that's involved, there's all the people that made all the parts for the truck, there's the people that drive the truck, there's the people that package the food, there's the farmers that do this, there's the people that bring the dairy, then there's those parents that brought those people into the world to be able to do that for you, and then their parents' parents and their grandparents and so on and so forth. And so when you eat that bite of meat, you're literally being brought that piece of meat or whatever that you're eating by thousands of people, and ultimately different animals and nature itself, right? In every single bite. There's an interdependence here that spirit can reconnect to. And I believe that's what we have to get back to in order to shift the hatred and things like that in the world. So I've been developing this new thing to go beyond spirituality as a term or a catchphrase, and to take it beyond transformation principles, to really ground yourself so much. And there's a great quote that I read, and it's something to the effect of, once you fully comprehend and understand who you truly are, your inherent nature, then everything is possible. And in spirituality, it's a lot of people aren't looking for that true nature, constantly questioning what is reality, what is self, what am I? Even when they're meditating, it's just about, I want to calm my mind instead of a concentration or a contemplation meditation. And I want to bring people, because I know that I can do this now in this space, to contemplate and see themselves on a level that they have never seen themselves on before. And then give them the tools. So not only does their life blossom, but everybody around them blossoms because of it. And then start showing that interdependence and create a community of people that are interested not in just their self-growth and self-personalization and self-goals, but in creating something in the world, helping reduce the suffering of others, and being in such a way with such a tools that we go out into the community and we do things. And then that community is basically brought up. And now we have two communities that go out to another community and bring them up. And that's what it's about for me. And so I want to get rid of this idea of the self and really realize this interdependence. And so that's what I've been working on. And as I keep taking notes and I'm writing and more on these exercises and lectures and things like this, it's going to be like a 3-part series that's going to be extremely affordable. We're talking, most seminars and even my own seminars before were like $3,500 and up. This is going to be all three parts way under $3,000. It has to be affordable. We have to be able to get it to people if we want it to work. And there still gets to be the exchange. I get it. But this right now is my life goal going forward because it's my impact on the world. It's not about money. And one of the things that I found spiritually was the things that were wiped away from me. Money, the idea of the type of house I want to live in or the location that I want to live in. And it got down just to like, I just want to be able to pay my basic bills to live and thrive. And that's it. And everything else was washed away. It was such a freeing moment. At the time, it was a terrifying moment, but it was such a freeing moment because I realized that I got wrapped up in all the things that didn't serve me, that didn't serve my path, that didn't serve my purpose in the world. And while there gets to be that exchange, so I do have a place to live as I do this, it's not about the beach house in San Diego. Okay? It's not about flying privately. It's not about any of that stuff anymore. And I'm so blessed that I had this experience of losing everything to this brain injury that I could reground in such a clear space that now I can be who I was meant to be in this world for others. Now I can be there in such a powerful, strong way for others to relieve other people's suffering in the world. And in turn, my life will be blessed. And it's a really cool place to create from. And I invite you to kind of follow along. If you want to go on my page, it's facebook.com/Aubrey P. Haase, or this YouTube channel, subscribe to it. But I invite you to go on that journey with me. And I invite you to invite others on this journey. I invite you to discover yourself in a way that you never have before. And that is not just concentrating on the good stuff of you. We all know there's good in everybody, but it's also the stuff that you don't like about yourself. It's also the stuff that maybe you're doing or being in the world. And it's about aligning yourself in a way that strips the ego to the point where you create so much compassion for the plight of others and so much love for the world that when you are in service to others in the world, the amount of satisfaction you get will be tenfold what you've ever experienced before with, money or personal, this is what happens. I forget things, material objects. And that's what I want to create. And I'm going to create that one through the trainings, so through a training system, because there definitely gets to be, I love Buddhism because Buddhism always puts things in like the 5 aggregates or the 4 stages of this. There's always a number to it so you can remember easy. There gets to be a way to package it in a training so that it's impactful, so that you have the experience of it, not just listening to me talk, but it's experiential where you can experience it and then you experience yourself in a way that you never have before. But then I'm also developing a spiritual church outside of religion, like taking the religion out of church. And it's where spirituality meets transformation. And it's based on the teachings of different religions and different philosophies. But it's all about the being with one another in a way that creates something positive. Being with one another in the world, being with one another in whatever it is for you, that we're creating something in the world together. And to be able to give these teachings every week, over and over, to have this platform to change people's lives and bring that in to there. And all the religions, the major religions in the world, major philosophies in the world, all preach around love. And even if you're right now going, well, that's not every religion, it is. You got to do some research into it, I promise, because I've done the research into it. Okay, it all comes from this love and helping others and really ultimately, if you look at the core message of religion, it's never about standing in anybody else's way. It's always about helping others and being compassionate towards them. And I want to create that, but not through the weaponization of religion. So between training and having this church, if you will, to really speak into the masses, to create something amazing. And I want to invite you to come on that with me because, one, it's time. If you look out there, it's a scary place right now, okay? It's time to do that. And if we don't, who will? Right? And it's not about, here, I gave money to a homeless person, so I videotaped it so I can put it on there, which is actually reinforcing the ego. It's a matter of being in such a way every day in kindness and compassion and love for others, in action, so that your beingness and everything about you that you are being and doing every day is coming from that love and compassion with no need for acknowledgement, which is something that I had to work on, because if you knew me and you know me, I love acknowledgement, right? I get to break with that as well. But just to be and do this, which is what I normally do in the world anyway. But I get to be and do that for others, to inspire others to do that as well. So that's where I am. And that's what's being created right now. And if there's anything I can do for you, reach out. I'm still most likely going to be coaching, but on a different level, on a different spiritual nature. And I don't mean spiritual like the woo-woo stuff like that. I'm talking about connecting to this spirit, the spirit that's connected to everything that is, okay? The interdependence of all phenomena. Getting connected back to that. And when you get connected back to that, your life is instantly better anyway. But the great thing about it is so are the lives of people around you. And that's what I'm looking to create now. So I thank you for your time. I don't think I have I don't have my screen up normally to how to get in touch with me. But you can do contact@aubreyhaase.com, which would be an email. You can go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Aubrey, P as in Patricia, Haase, Haase, 2 A's, 1 S, 1 E. And like the page, subscribe here. We'll have more videos. And share this, pass this along, because this journey doesn't happen with just me. It cannot happen without others, which is my invitation to the world, is to join me on this path. And I hope you do. And I hope to see you soon. So I guess because I don't have that exit screen with all the ways to get in touch with me, I'll just fade to black. But anyway, thank you for watching. I honor you and your time. I appreciate it. And we'll see you soon.